Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, Living Clean. I appreciate every one of you. If you are liking what you're hearing or listening to, it'd be great if you hit like and subscribe. Um, my name is John Clayton. I'm a recovering drug addict and alcoholic, and I've been clean and sober since February 21st, 2021. We're carrying on in the Living Clean book, illness. Many of us suffer from diseases other than addiction. Some may be direct consequence of our addiction or things that happened while we were using. Others may have nothing to do with the disease of addiction, but certainly impact our recovery. Sometimes it seems like they take over our entire lives. Learning to use the books, or sorry, using to Learning to use the tools we gain in NA to cope with our other challenges is part of living life on life's terms. When we suffer or see someone else suffering, we want to make sense of it. So we look at an explanation. It's a good impulse that can go sideways. We want an explanation, but we end up placing blame or passing judgment. Often, in the moments when we most need comfort and care, we are angry at ourselves, at our higher power, at, at anyone in between. We push away what we need the most. Fantasy, sorry, fantasies about what is or is not fair keep us in resentment and self-pity. Sometimes when we are trying to support our friends by helping them find an explanation, it can feel like we are just heaping on more blame. We can shift perspective slightly and look for the lessons rather than explanations. It may be that what we really need to do is set all the questions aside and just get through the day. When something is going on with our health, we have a choice to accept what is happening and deal with it or pretend it is not there. A great deal of the time, we choose to ignore what we know, either because we are afraid or because we don't want to hassle with it. For some of us, the fear of undergoing medical treatment is understandable, especially if that brings with it the possibility of having to take medication. Weighing risks and benefits is not easy. Finding a doctor we trust makes the process easier. We carefully consider the possibility that leaving a problem untreated may create more problems than before. Turning something over is not the same as ignoring it. When we take action and leave and leave the results to a power greater than ourselves, we are turning it over. However, when we don't take responsibility for our part, but wait for a magical answer, we are not working the third step. We are being irresponsible. Faith is not the same as wishing. There is a difference between denial and refusal. When we are in denial, we don't know it. The evidence may be glaringly obvious, but we do not see it. Once we can say, I'm in denial, it is no longer quite true. At that point, we are making a choice to accept what is real or to turn away from it and pretend when we refuse to admit the truth. We are in danger. Rebellion can be clearly can be sorry. Rebellion can be deadly for us. Acting as if is a tool we can use for better or for worse. The fear that keeps us from moving forward can stem from many causes. Other people's opinions of us, that may still seem important enough to risk our lives. The stigma of disease, whatever, whether from society at large, our loved ones, or even our friends in NA, keeps many of us from seeking testing or treatment. Our own judgment and fear can be surprising as well. In early recovery, we learn about projection. What really bothers us about someone else is likely true for us too. So it is with this fear, what we imagine others to be saying about us is often what we are thinking ourselves. We may need to drive ourselves to take action long before we are done working through our feelings about it. We may be surprised that a denial problem, for example, could return us to the sixth and seventh steps. But when we recognize that our fear is preventing us from taking care of ourselves, we can see this work and have to do some. Sometimes it can help us to look at this action as part of the amends process. We are dealing with the wreckage of our past, a member shared. I spent a fair portion of my second year in recovery getting my teeth fixed, and I noticed many others doing the same thing. It was a huge self esteem thing and an amends to my body. It may help to see it as part of my 10th step, addressing what is wrong in the present moment. Some of us have felt that we created our health problems as a result of our addiction, and that this is simply our lot. The basic text tells us that although we are not responsible for our addiction, we are responsible for our recovery. It may help us to consider that this applies to our bodies as well as our spirits. We may also be genuinely afraid of being sick, whether it's the particular diagnosis we are considering or the general idea of having something wrong with us. This may be a kind of powerlessness we didn't feel at all ready to accept. We may have that, or sorry, we may fear that our health issues will create few uncertainty in our finances, our careers, or our families, or that medication will put our recovery in jeopardy. A fear of something so far out of our control may be surprising in people who have taken so many really insane risks, but feelings don't always make sense. Fear gives us a chance to act with courage. When we stand up, face what's wrong, and deal with it to the best of our ability, we may not feel very brave at all. But these are the moments at which we serve as the most powerful testimony to what is possible in NA. We are demonstrating strength of character. When we use the tools available to us, calling our sponsor and seeking the experience, strength, and hope of others, allowing our support groups to support us, and turning to in times of illness and other NA literature, we are able to make decisions we can be comfortable with and take action to do the next right thing. These can be the moments that define our recovery. We may start trying to make deals with God, promising all sorts of things. If this will just please go away. This type of bargaining is not uncommon, but it is dangerous and frequently unhelpful. When we start trading on promises and expectations in our prayers, we are setting ourselves up for spiritual crisis. A higher power is not a vending machine. When we accept life on life's terms, we come to understand that the terms are not negotiable. Miracles happen to us and around us all the time. The very fact that we are alive and clean to face this challenge is a miracle, and there are always more unfolding if we look for them. Gratitude may be most needed when it is hardest to find. Looking for the reasons we have to be grateful in a moment of crisis can make all the difference. But daring or demanding miracles doesn't seem to work very well. We take action and turn the results over. Surrender in times of illness can mean a lot of different things. We surrender to the process, we surrender to the fact of morality and to the possibility of survival. Surrender, in a sense, does not mean giving up. The member in the sorry, One member in the midst of a long illness said, "It was pretty easy for me to surrender to the possibility of dying. It was a different kind of surrender for me to become willing to fight for my life." There is no model of the recovering addict, no one right way to do things. Some of us, taking an honest look at ourselves and our lives, really don't want to live that long. It may sound odd, but it's true. Longevity is not a universal goal or necessarily a universal good. Some of us make choices knowing they will shorten our lives. We may choose to smoke. We may choose to eat in a way we know is harmful. We may make a decision to stop or refuse treatment for an illness. A member whose patients, or sorry, a member whose parents had a difficult old age said, "I'm not going to do that to my daughter. I have a life I love, but that doesn't mean I want to play the hand to the end." We may be surprised at some of the decisions we make, or the strength of our feelings about them. These decisions are deeply personal, and we make them in accordance with our values. We want to be certain that we are acting on our beliefs, not opening a reservation that could lead us back to using. Each of us finds a balance we can live with between taking perfect care of ourselves and neglecting ourselves destructively. Whatever choices we make, what matters is that we know we are making them, that we understand we have a choice, and we consider it honestly and openly. We are always on a continuum between health and illness, between action and wishing, between living in accordance with our beliefs and betraying ourselves and our values. We come back to the tools of the program again and again to fine tune that balance and to find a way to bring ourselves back to a life we are comfortable with. Our process of inventory, amends, and surrender is an unending source of improvement for us. We find our values and learn what it means to live by them. Over time, we can let go of our expectations for what we thought life was supposed to be, or what we think others expect of us, and live according to the values we find within ourselves. As we learn what is true for us, we find that we are less compelled either to be perfect or to destroy ourselves. We are free to live lives according to our own choosing and design. Amen to that. Yeah, that was a good reading. There was even a part where it even gave me something that I wanted to mention, but in all honesty, I completely forgot what it was. So I appreciate every one of you. Thank you for joining me again today. And as I said, if you're new, then I hope you hear something that will resonate with you and will make you want to come back and spend some time with me. Um, if nobody's told you today that they love you, well, I love you, and we will see you tomorrow. Bye for now.